Yes, welcome along to episode 20 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. Looking back at the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. Yes, this is our review show and it is our final show of the series. Johnny, we got there.
Yeah,
we got to the end.
Yeah.
So obviously the festival, a lot of negativity in and around the festival. A lot of people complaining and whinging. Coming back on Friday night, most people I spoke to on the plane seemed to actually really enjoy the week, and it seemed to get better as the week went on. How was the week for you?
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it. I did. I really did. Well, we kind of broke it up a small bit. I didn't. I only went Tuesday and Thursday when they called off the Mickey Mouse race on the Wednesday. Cross country. I said, you know, there was three.
The Bulgers and
there was three skinny ones and three hard races. I said, you know what, we'll watch it. We're back where we were staying. So that broke up the week for me. I enjoyed Thursday. I enjoyed Tuesday too. I enjoyed the 4 days really. But no, it was. I read a bit of negativity. I didn't really see any negative stuff myself. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah. The only negative thing I would say is the 30 quid for the car park is a bit of an anus buster coming in, isn't it?
Is it 30 quid for a car park?
Yeah, 30
Park
quid.
your car?
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah, 30 sterling to park the car. Like that's not far off 40 euros. Like that's a lot of money to park your car.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, yeah, you'd realise it when she's asking you for the 30 quid coming in. So look, I just thought that was a bit much now, to be honest, because it is dear to go there anyway. You know what I mean? But I just thought that was like slightly taking a bit of a liberty, I thought.
And it's not great value for money if you're getting stuck in that 30 quid car park.
And that was a miracle I didn't get stuck. A pure miracle, yeah. Went into a patch that I shouldn't have gone into at all. I knew it was taking a chance, but no patience. Went in and just squeezed out by that much. I just got the two front tyres out onto the tarmac. and it was a hard car, so we rooted it out of it.
You made it.
You weren't too worried about the gearbox, right?
The car made it back in.
Sorry, Avis.
The car made it back in.
I think it was great. It was covered in muck now and everything, but we got it back in one piece. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be driving the next full drive. Anyway, look, it's grand. No, I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed it, yeah.
Okay, an enjoyable festival. We have a lot to get through. We're going to dissect all the action. Johnny is going to give you his performances of the week, his Eyecatcher of the week, which is not one that you might be thinking it is. It's one from very left field, Johnny's Eyecatcher of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. We're going to have the result, find out who won between myself and Johnny in the ante-post betting game, and we're going to say goodbye until next November. But before then, we've got a lot to get through, so let's get on with the show. And for the final time, we'll kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Erica Cassidy. And Erica wants to know, Johnny, how did you fare out at the Cheltenham Festival financially? Did you finish the week up or down? What was your best result financially? And what was the one reversal that cost you the most?
Yeah, look, over the entire week, I just about nozzled it, shaded it now. Very little in it. Was happy the way I played though. Gave myself good chances and I had some nice bets, but I just couldn't get winners. A lot of seconds at the finish. I think the last 7 bets I had, 6 of them were second. So I know they were like entitled to be on the premises. They weren't exactly like 50-1 shots either, but like I wasn't far away from hitting the jackpot, but I just couldn't really. But no, I couldn't really just land on the real winner that I wanted. And another thing I would say, I wasn't unlucky in any race. Like every horse I had got a fair crack at the whip. There was no race I look back and said, I should have won there, or the jockey threw it away, or whatever. Every horse I beat was beaten on merit. I wouldn't consider any of them unlucky. They did hit the crossbar, but they just didn't win. And look, for to be kind of so close in a lot of races and not to cost me money, I was quite happy with that.
A lot of people, if they had 6 seconds of their last 7 bets, would be absolutely whinging, saying, what have I done to deserve this? But you're not. You're kind of saying they ran the races. If they were there, they were good enough.
I think I'd rather back 6 seconds than 6 horses that fit out the back of the tilly. At least you know you're on the right track. If you know what I'm saying, you're backing the right horses, and if you keep backing those horses, you'll eventually you'll break in and you will hit winners. But look, no, I wasn't disappointed the way I played. I wasn't disappointed with the way it went for me either. Financially, I'd say I might have won. I'd say I didn't win the price of a bag of crisps there, but I did win something, very little anyway. But I just gave myself chances, and I had, even though I got no ante-post bet up, they saved me money because I was on horses. I didn't have to back them.
Okay.
Do you know, like put this way, it's on the line and say 3-1. I don't have to back it now at 6-4, and I lose less if he's beaten. Say the likes of Crebbley at whatever price it was.
And you said 10 to 1 there. You did, you gave it away.
Right,
he was on a 10.
Anyway, right, okay, but I don't think I'd have to back it at 4-1. So it saves me money if they're beaten, because I have to have more on them if I'm not on them before that. So even though I did like ante-post, even though you don't hit winners, maybe it can still be beneficial to you. Like, you know?
Okay, best result of the week. What was the one that gave you most satisfaction?
Well, not most satisfaction, but financially the best result. And I was gone off the horse completely with Stellar Story. I wasn't going to back it. They were literally lining up. And I was after going off a few winners during the week. The likes of like Golden Ace, who I had put up a few times, didn't back that. I could have seen myself backing Absurd. The ground went against it. I didn't back Chianti Classico.
You didn't back Chianti
Classico?
No,
I didn't. I was off my rocker over that. Yeah.
Never. You're talking about it for weeks here. Was in the Race and Post on Tuesday. You said how much you fancied that horse.
Yeah, I went off it. Yeah, I did. When the ground got soft, I said to myself, "Do you know what? I have a feeling this film mightn't function," and I went off it, and I finished up laying. What did I lay? I laid somehow. I laid the Gopher because I thought the ground was gone against him. And had it on Trelawn. Trelawn was gone into second, so I had a nice little squeeze all the way around. I couldn't win.
On Trelawn as well, yeah.
Yeah, and never back Chianti. So they were lining up, and I said, do you know what? If I don't back this horse, it wins.
What price did you get?
45 to 1 or something.
45 to 1 Stellar Story. Yeah, that was nice.
But I still didn't do any good in the day.
Okay.
After backing the 45 to 1 winner, so look. And I had a reasonable bit on it too. But everything I did was wrong besides that race. But that was vital for me that. But no, I did bet a small bit bigger afterwards because I had hit a winner and I was playing with other people's money, so it wasn't. You know what I mean? But I didn't do much good on it afterwards. But I was glad it won. Very glad it won. Yeah, because it was probably one of the luckiest winners of the week too. Because I think if a man jumped the last clean, he could not have lost.
No, absolutely. It was your saviour of the week, Stellar Story, and the one kind of thump in the stomach that hit you the hardest. What was the one reversal that cost you the most?
The one reversal for me, because I was winning the same day and I let it go on it, was Brighter Days Ahead. And the thing was, if you said to me 2 weeks beforehand, I'd said I wouldn't have backed that horse at all. Yeah. I had no notion of backing it. But it was listening to people and listening to hype and listening to all this kind of stuff and just got it probably swallowed up in it or whatever, like the word, and said to myself, like, especially the way the hype horses like Factofoil couldn't hold it, Ballyburn couldn't hold it, and this was the third one really. And I was saying, sure, this is like going to the toilet. These horses can't lose. You know what I mean? When they say to the toilet. Yeah, but it's as easy as that. Do you know what I mean? So I said to myself, sure, this has to win. So I backed it at a bad price too, under evens, like, you know what I mean?
And not only did you back it at a bad price, you also tipped it live on terrestrial television. Johnny Dineen, live on ITV. And I noticed you weren't inviting me on with you.
I didn't. I was looking for you.
You were?
No, I did, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you have to be up there. I mean, it's easy to tip a horse, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I'd much rather have tipped it than not backed it.
Yeah. But you did get a lot right, I have to say.
I got a few things right too. Of course you did, but of course you get plenty right and plenty wrong. That's it, yeah. But no, because I actually give the winner a squeak there, Golden Ace, and I never backed that either. So look, I was sick over backing that now because it was. I thought she was disappointing. Brighter Days Ahead, very disappointing. Like fellas were saying that. He should have gone for home. There was no horse going for home, top of the hill and winning at the same time. You had to be ridden with some sort of restraint. And the bottom line was he knocked down the only danger in the race. Knocked it down, put it out of the race, and still couldn't win. Lost ground from the back of the last. So like, do you know what I mean? The two of them were coming down the straight together, eating the winner, and they were both going well. And you just wondered which one was the first to crack. He was the first to come under pressure, and she ran away from the other one at the back of the last.
So tell me this: if that race was run again, same conditions, same trip, everything next week, would you back Golden Ace to beat Brighter Days Ahead again?
Well, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd lay Brighter Days Ahead for the sweep. That's what I would now.
Yeah.
Because it probably wouldn't even beat Jade de Grugy. It's nowhere near as good as people were saying it is. Nowhere near it is. And the fact that, like, the chances of that being, like, if that's as good as it is anyway, it's a good mare. It hasn't the hope out in open company in my book anyway.
Okay, there you go. That's our first question this week. Thanks, Erica. Next up this week is Daniel Meek. And Daniel wants to know, what are the 3 things Johnny and DJ would do to bring the festival back to its former glory days? So we have to change the festival to bring it back to its glory days, even though I thought it was reasonably glorious this week. Yeah. What would you do, Johnny? Number 1.
Number 1 is, I think...
Top of your agenda.
I haven't in any real order of merit or anything, but I'd say, look, I'd definitely do something with the mayor's hurdle. the mayor's races, actually. First of all, there should be no penalties in any race in Cheltenham. Like, it's supposed to be championship races, so it makes no sense that you have to kind of plot your way into a mayor's novice hurdle. Do you know what I mean? You can't go for certain races, otherwise you're going to incur the £5 penalty. Like, if brighter days ahead in the £5 penalty, might even have won that race. Who knows? You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that has to go.
Agreed.
It should be, there should be no penalties in the mayor's chase as well and the mayor's hurdle.
Yes.
None of them anyway.
Are you keeping those 2 races?
I would do, yeah, I would do. But what I'm saying is there should be probably a ratings band on a race like the mayor's hurdle, forcing the likes of Lossiemouth into a champion hurdle. I think that's one thing I'd start off with anyway. The second thing I'd go for would be the National Hunt Chase. I think that's
gone.
It's not really a gone. I'd put it back the way it was 20 years ago, where it was a different type of race completely. It was more so I think you had to qualify by not having ridden or not having won more than one race at the start of the season.
Okay.
Like, to me, the National Hunt Chase is a race full of tradition, or something. It's like donkeys years old, and to me, like, I don't see horses like winning or running in the Sunday Lions hurdle, qualifying for the National Hunt Chase. Like, Corbett's Cross should have ran in the Brown Advisory. He's good enough to run in the Brown Advisory. Like, you see that, like, Vanillier winning the Albert Bartlett and still being eligible for the national. Galliard de Menil, like, placed in
Irish National.
But no, placed behind Bob Ollinger in the Sunny Lions hurdle, or whatever they like to call it. And them type of horses shouldn't be allowed running the national chase, I think. Like, the types of horses that should be in the national chase are likes of, remember Rit Dove and Timbera back years ago? Them kind of like, they're half pointers. And they're better than pointers. The likes of I think Hot Weld and one of them horses years ago. Over the Road was a good horse belonged to Tom Costello, won back in the 80s. But I just think that these horses are too good to run in a race like that, and it's given the smaller operator no chance of winning the National Hunt Chase. It's going to be a Mullins or an Elliott or someone like winning it every year. Like, there was a few English horses in addition, but there were tokens. But they're the type of horse like Mr. Van Gogh. That is the kind of horse. Maybe that wouldn't qualify, but that's the kind of horse that should be in the National Chase, not a Gold Cup horse like Corbett's Cross.
Okay, fair enough. That's 2, 3.
The third one, I'm trying to think now off the top of my head.
I'll give you a bit of time. I can.
Yeah,
I'll give you a bit of thinking time. A couple of things that I would do. First of all, you focus on obviously the racing element of it, which I agree with. I think definitely the Turners, which was a terrific race this year. I do think the Turners needs to be a handicap. Make it the Turners handicap chase, and make horses like Grey Dawning or Ginny's Destiny run in the Brown Advisory of the Arkle, because I do think they need to be more competitive. Like, Grey Dawning against Factify would have been a proper race, like. And I just think that middle chase, we've seen a few years ago, there was only 4 runners when Bob Ollinger obviously picked up the scraps left behind by Gallop in the Champs. I do think the Turners made a handicap chase. And another race I would make a handicap is the cross country. It wasn't ran this year. A lot of people weren't even disappointed it wasn't ran, but I don't agree with a cross country being a testimonial for horses who have ran in Gold Cups. I think it's for a different type of horse, like you said with the National Hunt Chase. The cross country should be a story, and it should be a chance for, maybe not a Willie Mullins or a Henry de Bromhead or a top trainer to write a story during the week. And I think you have to make that a handicap again to have a better story coming out of that race. So they were my 2 racings. As regards expense, I don't know what you think about this, Johnny. I think the day of separate enclosures, your Tattersall's enclosure and your club enclosure in the track, I think that day is gone personally. I think it's expensive enough to get into Cheltenham. If you're buying a Tattersall's ticket for Cheltenham and you can't go out with the best view in the grandstand, that you're down one end or down the other end, I think we should try and find a way to incorporate the 2 enclosures into one, and maybe trying to find a compromise with the price, because there's a lot of people who are frustrated that don't understand Cheltenham, that might be going for the first time, they have their Tattersall's ticket, and they're told, no, you can't go in there, you can't go in there, you can't go in there. And if you do have a Tattersall's ticket, there's a lot of places you can't go to. Yeah,
I didn't even think, and you're right, that there should be no segregation really.
Because I think in Irish racecourse, I'm not sure if we have reserved enclosures
We used to have one in Punchestown.
Punchestown, there used to be down, and there might still be a little part in Punchestown, but I think it's gone. Fairyhouse is definitely gone. The reserved enclosure idea is gone. And in most tracks, I do think it's gone. Fair enough, you have your boxes and you have your different tiers in the grandstand, but I don't know. I thought it was a terrific festival, terrific atmosphere, but that would be one thing.
Yeah, I'd say that it's gone on a lot of tracks. I remember being in Doncaster about 30 years ago. I was walking in. went in to see a race, and the telly was about Fred Flintstone job. It was about 100 years old. And next day I was running to the members. Next day the man says to me, "You have to wear a tie." I said, "You joking me?" I said, "The telly's 1,000 years old. They want me to wear a tie." He joking me. Stop. I had to go in and buy a tie. Otherwise you wouldn't get in. Yeah.
Did you remember your final thing?
I did. The third thing it's something similar to what I wouldn't get rid of the turners, but I don't see why there was any reason to get rid of the novices handicap chase. To me, that was a good race, and a very good race, and the likes of A. Plutard and one of, like, you would have had the likes of Crebley in that race this year rather than going out into open company and maybe leaving the open company open race to maybe
non-novices,
more proven horses. Yeah, exactly. Because like the novices, if they do things right in the open company, they will win them at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Now, the saying that Crebley got beaten by a horse that had about 10 handicap chases, but he wasn't far off winning at the same time. You know what I mean? Look, I thought there was nothing wrong with that race. If there was if there was other races that needed the gate, that wasn't one of them in my opinion. And there was one other horse that I thought that won the National Hunt Chase was Tiger Roll. Like, how in God's name is a Triumph Hurdle winner allowed run in the National Hunt Chase? That is a joke, in my opinion. Anyway.
Okay, there you go. There's a couple of things we would do to try and bring the festival back to its glory days. But it wasn't a bad week, Johnny.
No, I enjoyed it. I did. I very much enjoyed it, to be honest. And as I look, nothing's perfect either, but they probably do have to make a few minor alterations.
A little bit of surgery, but I have to say, they get a lot of negativity, but I do think Ian Renton and the team at Cheltenham did a great job last week. But those are a couple of tweaks we would make to try and make it even better. Next question comes in from Andre Duncan, and Andre wants to know, what was the one bet we had at this year's festival that we regretted most of all? The one that we were immediately kicking ourselves afterwards saying, what on earth was I doing throwing money away at that joke?
Yeah, look, I tell you, the race that kind of half annoyed me a small bit was, I actually backed 3 in the race. I backed Facile Vega, but I also saved on the winner and the Rocco.
Grey Dawning and Rocco.
Rocco, yeah.
The Turners, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way I played the race. I backed, but after a fence, I'm looking and said, I'm in trouble here. This Facile Vega. I said, first of all, he's too far behind in here for starters, and Rocco ran poorly too. I thought it ran but I can only break even if the Grey Dawning wins. Yeah. And like, that was the one horse I actually cheered home, even though I didn't win any money in the race. But it avoided a disaster for me, you know. Yeah. But I was sick. I backed Facile Vega, and I backed a bad price too, because I could have backed it at 5 to 6 to 1 maybe a week beforehand, and I didn't. And I faced into it at 5 to 2, and now I saved in the winner 3 to 1, and back to Rocco at about 7 or 8 to 1 as well. But that's one I could easily have gone the other way now. Do you know what I mean? I could easily have been on Grey Dawning and saved in Facile Vega.
It was a terrific race to watch. I have to say, of all the races at the festival, the atmosphere in the stands for that race, they went at it from the top of the hill. There was no hanging about. You know, they both ran crackers, Grey Dawning and Ginny's Destiny, and Grey Dawning is a proper horse, isn't he?
Oh, he's a good horse. And I think what the commentator was thing when he said that it looks between the 3 and the 3 are English or something like that. That got a big roar because finally there was going to be no Irish horse around. You know, so no, it was good for. I liked the fact that Skelton won a couple of graded races as well as
Protectorate obviously won as well.
And that one as well. And he got to come in for a bit of stick, which I thought that was outrageous.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people, and a lot of, you know, people with a voice on social media have been criticising Langerdan and his, I suppose, the way he's campaigned the horse this season. But sure, that's the handicap system, isn't it?
I think that was disgraceful what was going on there. Fellas saying about this and criticising him that he got down to the weight that he won last year. First of all, anyway, he was 40, 66 in 3 races he ran. So he affected very, very few people anyway, didn't he? There was plenty of Irish horses.
Oh, prices, you mean?
Yes. There was plenty of Irish horses trained specifically for this meeting too. They were beaten at a lot shorter prices than 40 and 66, and born punters a lot faster than Langerdan did anyway in my eyes. And like I don't have to name them. You'll know them by looking at the races and the horses that won, about how busy they were all the year in certain races.
Absolutely. And maybe, you know, Dan Skelton, obviously a terrific target trainer. Yeah. And, you know, maybe he's kind of said, well, if other people are campaigning their horses to peak at Cheltenham, I'm going to do it too. I
just like the fact that he rammed it down their throats by winning 2 graded races. That fellas once said, like he just plotted a small handicap thing. Yeah. He proved that he could do it at the top level too. And that's actually what swung the atmosphere at the festival. The fact that he started banging in winners, and next thing that, like, it wasn't looking as bleak as it was for the English people, to be honest.
Absolutely. I actually watched Ryanair next to him. I was just standing there and he was here, and it was funny, no emotion whatsoever until Protectorate jumped the last. And he made up for it then in the final 200 yards, let me tell you. He was properly dancing. So congratulations to Dan Skelton. The one that I was kicking myself for, because I've spent obviously the last 2 seasons with you, and I've learned a lot from you. And the one thing you've always said is, when you're tipping horses ante-post, you almost have to have a complete fresh look when it comes to the day. You can't just say, well, I fancied that horse 2 months ago, because you say you change your mind all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and a horse that you might have fancied in January, you don't fancy at all
exactly,
now.
Yeah,
At the start of the season, you were against Ballyburn.
Yeah.
And you obviously changed your mind on him.
Yeah.
And Ashro Diamond was the one that disappointed me most of all, because I tipped her up on this show. She was a massive drifter in the day. Colossal drifter. Like, she was 9-2 maybe, 24 hours before the race. And I think she drifted out to 14 and 15 on the exchanges. She was a massive drifter. I knew she couldn't beat Lossiemouth.
Yeah.
And yet I still backed her. So you're kind of going, that was the one lesson I learned.
Well, if she went out to 14 before the race, you didn't even have to watch it anyway.
No,
That's
no,
my opinion. I know fellas be saying you should have more on. That's the biggest load of nonsense of all time anyway. I didn't fancy a horse there, and I didn't even bother laying him now, but stay away, Faye. Somebody, somewhere.
That was a colossal drift.
That went up to about 9-1 from 3-1 in the morning.
3-1 in the morning.
That is a monstrous drift in a race like that. They can be saying what you like anyway, but somebody somewhere knew something.
And it scoped dirty after the race.
Oh, well, it scoped beforehand too, didn't it, obviously? So the fella that scoped it must have been laying it because...
Massive drift.
Stop the light. That couldn't win anyway. I know it ran desperate too, but it can't be as bad as that. Can't be as bad as that.
There we go. Those were the bets that we had at the Cheltenham Festival that we regretted most of all. Next question comes in from Errol Dyrensay, and Errol wants to know, what was the best ride of the festival? What was the worst ride of the festival? And also, what was the best ride that didn't win, Johnny Dineen? So we'll start on a high. We'll say the best ride of the festival. What was the one ride that caught your eye most of all?
I tell you, the best ride of the festival for me was Absurd in the county hurdle.
Completely agree. Incredible ride.
Because I was given that a chance. And then the ground went for it. No, and the notion back into the finish now. Now I know without the big price, but it would have been 5-1 if the ground was better, wouldn't it? At the same time. So look, without them prices, I had the notion back. So it's not like I missed the winner, but I was looking at the top of the hill and I was saying, which one is Absurd? I said, in white. Oh, look at the cut of that. I'm glad I didn't back that anyway. Do you know what I mean? Last, no chance.
Your nightmare, Johnny. Last.
Yeah, it bucked the trend as well, because there was no horse all weekend from anywhere near there. Not a horse. You couldn't win from the back in any race, and yet this guy managed to do it. And next thing I saw him coming through up the straight, he's weaving his way through. I said, here's Absurd coming, and he timed it to perfection. No, that was a ride of the ages, in my opinion.
And I often think when you're riding a horse the way Paul Townend rode Absurd, you can't get stuck in traffic, because if you're stopped once, you lose momentum. And somehow, in such a big field, he managed to pass them all without meeting any traffic. It was an incredible navigational skills by Paul. Yeah. And he didn't even have to, go really wide around one.
And he knew he had won well before the last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he knew that he had him in his sights, you know what I mean? That was excellent stuff, really, really good.
We're in agreement here. The ride of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival was Paul Townend. So very well done, Paul. The worst ride of the festival, I'm going to take this one, Johnny, first, because we've given him accolades here. He had a terrific week, Paul Townend. I just think, from working at Cheltenham all week and seeing his demeanour, he is such a cool customer, Paul Townend. There was big pressure on him this week to deliver on big horses, Galloping the Champs, Stateman, Ballyburn, all these horses. Yes, he's riding the best horse in a lot of races, but his mentality, there's no up, down, doesn't get too high after a big winner, doesn't get too low after a loser. He's just that level all the time. And I think that's exactly what Willie Mullins needed. And he's proven himself now to be one of the best jockeys of all time. But I did think if he could have one ride back, it was probably Jade DeGrugy in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. You said earlier on in the show, Johnny, Jack took his spot. Paul was in the perfect spot in Jade DeGrugy, and he lost it to Jack at a crucial stage coming down the hill. And then whatever happened up the home straight, he was completely away from the action, because all the action was happening on the near side. Paul was 5 or 6 horsewidths away from them on the near side. He was away from all the action. And I thought she would have needed to be Narazi to win, given what had happened to her. But I kind of came away from that race thinking she actually is far better than she was able to prove there. Yes, the race mightn't have went terrifically well for brighter days ahead, but I did think the race probably was left behind for Jade DeGrugy. And I think if she ran against Golden Ace again, I'd fancy her to get an awful lot closer. And and I wouldn't be surprised if she beat her. So, unfortunately for you, Paul, you got the best ride of the week on Absurd, but also I'll give you the worst ride of the week on Jade de Grugy.
Yeah, look, I suppose the way of describing a bad ride is if a fella throws away a race. That's the only way. Like,
no, he didn't, by the way, Paul. You didn't throw away the race.
No, but like, okay, whatever you like to say about Paul. But to me, there was no race all week where the best horse didn't win. That's my reading of it anyway.
The jukebox man?
Actually, he made a mistake at the last, but like it wasn't like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it jockey or, I mean, he did rattle the last, but it got like he lost by nothing. I mean, he did take the race asunder at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have said he was a bit unlucky, but I wouldn't have said to me there was no horse won all week or lost all week because of a bad ride.
Okay.
No, I think there was. I'm not going to name them, but I think there was a couple of jockeys that rode in Grade 1s there who are not up to Grade 1 standard, in my opinion, anyway. Okay, but like what they rode, like, okay, the horses that they rode in the Grade 1s, it didn't matter who rode them, but I just thought they were all over the place, a couple of these fellas, and going forward, I won't be facing them in Grade 1s ever again anyway, these guys, under any circumstances.
Okay, I won't push you for names.
No, I wouldn't like to name them now, but
okay.
Like, I think if you have a look back at the races, you wouldn't have to be Einstein to figure out a couple of them.
Okay, there you go. And the final part of that question, Johnny, the best losing ride, okay? So the horse that didn't win, but that was given an absolute peach.
Two horses ridden by the same guy, to me, got brilliant rides.
Mark Walsh?
Keith Donoghue.
Okay.
Flooring Porter.
Yes.
I thought he was outstanding on that. All bar Tihupo he beat, like, at the same time. And he gave that a brilliant ride, Pat Daru, even though it didn't win. He got some jumps out of that horse, like, because that's one thing I thought it mightn't be able to do. It doesn't find much at the end of the races, but it wasn't his fault. And like, he did ride a winner on Limerick Lace, and he was entitled.
He deserved it.
Oh, he did. If every guy deserved a winner, he had a brilliant jockey anyway.
And like, if you look through all Keith's rides all week, Romeo Coolio, like, travelled beautifully through the race, did everything right, got there, as you say. Like, even Pat Daru. Yeah. And like, he's riding at the peak of his powers.
But he's a great jockey, full stop. He has been with a few years, you know what I mean? And he's probably underestimated by people. People don't actually realise how good he actually is. But he's got a great sitting horse. Horses travel beautifully for him. They jump well for him. I just think he's a fantastic jockey. Like, he's definitely up there in the top ranks in my book anyway.
Okay. And the one horse I thought got a terrific ride was Mystical Power. I thought if that horse was good enough, I thought he came with a perfectly timed run, watched it in the grandstand, passed by me 200 yards to go, was in front, did everything right, and just didn't win. And I'd say Mark Walsh kind of came away going, I couldn't have done any more than that horse. Yeah. And I'd say a little bit better ground for Mystical Power, and he could be a proper Grade 1 winner. So there you go. That was the best ride of the festival, the worst ride of the festival, and the one horse who didn't win but got a great ride. And our final question this week, and the most important question of the week, comes in from Colin Grogan. And Colin wants to know, will the very knowledgeable and entertaining Johnny Dineen, that's you by the way. Right. Yeah, that's you. Will the very knowledgeable and entertaining Johnny Dineen be coming back for another series of Upping The Ante next season, Johnny?
Look, I won't commit to anything just yet anyway, do you know what I mean? So we'll see how we go. Look, it's like, I'm tired now at the moment, so we'll have a good bit of a think about it. And like, I even got up this morning, like 5 o'clock, is getting old now at the same time. Like, it's okay for you, you're only young fella compared to me, but I find it hard to get out of the bed. A lot harder than it used to 15 years ago anyway. But anyway, look, we'll see. I think it's like, I don't know, is it like asking a boxer with his two eyes closed, when are you going to fight next? When's your next fight? You're to say, look, we'll think about that. Look, it's another 6 months away. We'll think about it. I'm not rolling it in or out at the minute, but look, we'll see. Like, you could be dead in 6 months. Who knows? You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it anyway. So I'm not be planning that far ahead anyway. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do my best anyway.
Yeah. Sure. Look, I'm not. As I said, I'm not dismissing it at all or anything like it, but I'm not committing to it either.
Okay. There we go. Johnny, hopefully we'll be back. We'll do our best to get him back next November for our next series of Upping The Ante. And what a terrific find he has been for Upping The Ante. Another terrific series. So hopefully, Colin, we'll get him back next season. It's time for performance of the festival here on Upping The Ante, where Johnny Dineen counts down his top 3 performances of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. Number 3, Johnny.
Look, I went with like horses that I think could come back and win again. So I lifted out some of the older ones, like that well, maybe not older ones, but the likes of State Man, and then maybe Gallop and Deschamps. So like you could have put in 15 horses for this 3. So I'm down to 3.
Left out Gallop and Deschamps.
I did. I did. I just think that he did. What I suppose, like, well, there was only.
Well, no, like you were going to say he did what everybody thought he was going to do.
Except me.
Except you, yeah, because you laid him.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't lay him for a lot. Actually, I finished up when I looked at the race again. There was no Shishkin. The Hewick was that's another one that can't save you. And then the ground, I thought was gone against fast or slow. Yeah. I actually finished up laying him alright, but not for a lot. But I did back Jerry Colomb each way, so I got my money back there. 4 places and that kind of stuff. And only for getting the previous winner Stiller Story, I probably wouldn't have laid him at all. Okay. I just said I chanced him then because I said, it's my lucky day, I'm going to get this beat now. You know what I mean? But so anyway.
He didn't make your top 3, so who's number 3?
Number 3 for me was Corbett's Cross.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Like, he won 17 lengths, it's a long way in a race in Cheltenham. And like, he only took it up between the last 2. And like, he looked to me a Brown Advisory / Gold Cup horse running in the National Hunt Chase. Yeah. Like, he is definitely, him and I Know the Way You're Thinking are probably 2 horses that could graduate out of those races into Gold Cup. They're definitely Gold Cup place material even already anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you're on Corbett's Cross, at no stage were you even slightly concerned. He was jumping well, he was travelling, he just looked like he poked your eye out, just the best horse in the race.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, I was in a hole that day. I took a chance laying Embassy Gardens to kind of rectify the day, and at no stage did I think Embassy Gardens was going to finish in front of Corbett's Cross. Not a hope.
Okay, number 3 is Corbett's Cross. Number 2?
Number 2 was Factor Foil. I think that was like an awesome performance. Now, I know there wasn't a huge field, but it wasn't that bad a race either, and like, he was on the bridle coming to the last, wasn't it really? I mean, he'd won in a walk, didn't it, Factor Foil? Yeah. It is probably as good as they said it was anyway.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? It's a horse that lived up to the hype. I think like when Tony Mullins was being like vilified, is that a word, is it, vilified? for saying that he'd have won the Gold Cup. Yeah. He might be far off the mark at the same time, do you know what I mean? So.
And for those that read your column in the Racing Post, they will know that your banker that day, Dineen's Diamond, was Monty Star without Factor Foil. And I'd say you were delighted that Rachel kept getting stuck in all the way to the line.
I was keeping the 9G of Inco, got up to the line, Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose
she gave that a proper right to finish second.
Well, she gave it a proper right to win the race too, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? She was probably a bit too close for my bet, if anything. But no, she didn't miss it going to the, like, kept shoving it. But it is Cheltenham at the same time, so you'd expect to be pushed out for second place, you know what I mean? Would you?
Happy all the same passing line?
Oh, very happy.
What price was Monty Star without?
About 9-4 and 2-1.
Nice.
It was actually more because they backed American Mike into quite a short enough price. That came from about 9-2 into about 9-4 in that market.
Wow.
Yeah,
really? Okay.
There's plenty of money for that.
There you go. So number 2 was Factor Foil, and Johnny Dineen's performance of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival is?
Ballyburn, no question.
Oh.
Yeah, I just think Ballyburn is a horse of huge ability that probably would have won any of the 3 novice races. And going forward, you're looking at like anything from a champion hurdler to a Gold Cup horse. Who knows? You know what I mean? Depending on what route they take. I suspect he'll go chasing myself. Yeah,
he got a Racing Post rating of 168 for winning the Gallagher Novice Hurdle. To put that in perspective, Stateman got 160 for winning the Champion Hurdle. So his performance in the Novice Hurdle on Wednesday was rated £8 higher than Stateman. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, like, could you read too much into those type of things at times? But look, he was hugely impressive, and he's the stamp of a chaser. He could go back hurdling, but then, like, if you've Constitution Hill there, if he is fit, like, would you bring him? I think they'll go chasing. I think would you go? Like, I'd say you go Turner's Gold Cup. That'd be my route anyway. A bit, that kind of way.
Willie Mullins is dreaming of doing the Dawn Run double, winning the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup. And I always think it's kind of it's easy to kind of say these things straight after Cheltenham. You know, I always call it a silly season where Honeysuckle was going over fences and Constitution Hill was going to be running the Ascot Gold Cup over the years. It's the time for big statements. But I do think he does have a point with Ballyburn. It's very rare you get a horse who probably will stay a Gold Cup trip, but has enough class to run over 2 miles, because he probably would have won the Supreme. So I can kind of see where he's coming from, even though it mightn't work out that way. I can see why he's thinking of trying to do a Dawn Run.
Yeah, look, as I said, them kind of horses are like hen's teeth. You could even contemplate doing something like that. So if you had to pick one horse right now that's living and breathing, I'd say that it would be Ballyburn that could possibly win a Champion Hurdle and a Gold Cup.
And tell me this, Johnny, after Ballyburn's performance in the season he's had, do you feel like an idiot being against him at the start of the season, saying he was overrated?
No, because I've been against horses before, but I don't be against them too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you're an idiot if you keep being against them.
Yeah.
I remember being against Frankel once or twice, but after about 2 goes, I said, lads, this is over anyway. You know what I mean? I'm not against this horse anymore. Do you know what I mean? And the same with Ballyburn. You know what I mean? The minute he won that maiden hurdle at Christmas, beating the likes of Apples of Brazil and was it Cletus Pool, was it?
Yeah.
By over 40 lengths, I said, no, we're on the wrong track here, lads. We have to get on this train.
Was it like that when you went out in your first few dates with your wife? Was it like, no, this is not a long-term thing. We're only going out on one date. Then the second date, and you go, okay, I'm going to marry her.
No, it took a bit longer than that. Not like Hollywood or anything, but
there you go. Ballyburn, after all that, was Johnny Dineen's standout performance of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. So Ballyburn was Johnny's best performance of the week, but who was his eye-catcher? Who was the one horse that was beaten over the 4 days that really caught his eye? Johnny, your eye-catcher of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival was?
my eye catcher was a horse called Sounds Victorious. It finished 4th in the Cheltenham Bumper. Willie Mullins won a bumper in Punchestown. Looked beat all ends up, and the same at Christmas. He was second, looked beat and battled back and would have got up in another stride or two against a horse of a Jigginstown horse. Patter Merchant or something like that.
Yeah, and he beat Master Boy Davis. In
His form is quite respectable. I actually had something on him. He was about 150 to 1 the other day. And he was finishing 100 mile an hour, that horse. Yeah. Like the bumper in Cheltenham, like, it is always a good race.
Yeah.
It's invariably a good race. And the right 3 horses, the winner and the Elliott 2 were in front of him. And I'm not joking, in another 50, he'd have been passing some of those as well. So I'd say he's a really strong stayer. He's by Champs-Élysées. If I had to pick a horse right now for the Albert Bartlett, that'd be him. Wow. He's 25.
He was with the Fogartys, I think, wasn't he? Originally, I think he was with Johnny and Mikey Fogarty.
He could have been, yeah. You're probably right about that. I don't know where he came from, but I have an idea where he's going to.
So he could be your 2025 Albert Bartlett winner. Johnny Dineen's eye-catcher of the Cheltenham Festival was Sounds Victorious. It's time for the result. Yes, as you know, myself and Johnny, in the lead up to the Cheltenham Festival, have been putting up our festival teams, and we had 10 in the final teams leading into the festival. But unfortunately, we didn't get 10 runners, Johnny, as rain spoiled a lot of my chances. But here is the final result, and the winner of Upping The Ante 2024 is Mr. Johnny Dineen. Congratulations.
Right, thanks.
Don't leave me hanging. Okay, so Johnny finished the week with a level stakes profit of plus 225, and I finished the week with a level stakes profit of 2. So let's dissect where it all went reasonably right for both of us. Johnny, 2 winners for you. Factophile at 7-1, a terrific selection. 1 at long odds on in the Brown Advisory. And Tihupu tipped up, I think it was your final tip, was it? Or second last tip?
It could have been, yeah. Is either that or it's on the line. One of the my last 2 anyway, yeah.
At 9-4, I think returned at 5-4 in the Stairs Hurdle. Factophile, first of all, obviously up there with Ballyburn, with your best selection of the week.
Yeah, look, he won well, and he's a good horse going forward. Look, as I said, there wasn't a lot in the 2.25. Sure, only all you're depending on is like, it's a fraction, isn't it? That's a short head, isn't it? So there's nothing in it.
That's sport. It's cruel.
Yeah, exactly. But look,
it's inches. Isn't that what they say?
No, but it was interesting now at the same time. Yeah.
So you were very unlucky not to. You've had 2 winners at your 10. Very unlucky not to have 3 more, because you had It's On The Line, Crebbley and Dino Blue, all narrowly beaten into second. They all ran crackers.
Yeah, they didn't, but they didn't quite make it. But it just goes to show how hard it was to pick 20 horses, I think. You know what I mean? I defy anyone that could pick 20 horses and actually make money anyway, ante-post. Like 20 is just far too much. And like last year we picked 20 and yourself and Gavin were picking 20. Like, that was like a mountain to climb, in my opinion. Anyway. At least it gives, when you bring it back to 10, it gives you some sort of a chance, I think, anyway. You
Absolutely. A bit unlucky with your non-runners. Ballyburn obviously would have won this Supreme. You tipped that up at 14-1. Imagine whatever race he would have won.
Yeah, he would, of course. Yeah, but
in the pocket, didn't run in the Arkle. probably mightn't have beaten Gaelic Warrior on the day.
Probably not, yeah.
And
Exactly.
Kidley Park went for the Albert Bartlett rather than the Gallagher.
It didn't matter what way he went in the finishes, really,
So there you go. Johnny is plus 225 with his selections for Up in the Ante in this series. I finished plus 2. I got off to a terrific start with Gaelic Warrior at 10-1 in the Arkle. Probably didn't get to the Arkle the way I thought he would when I tipped him up.
Yeah.
I was thinking he might run in the 2-miler in the Irish Arkle at Dublin Racing Festival. He didn't. He ran the longer race. He got beaten. Still ended up in the Arkle, but he won, returned 2-1 favourite, but tipped up at 10-1 ante-post by myself. My other place horse was in Dowie, who ran a cracker in the Boodles, finished third, just given that £12 to Lark in the morning was just a bit too much. And Ashford Diamond, unbelievably, was my only other runner in the week. Ashford Diamond just got run away with a little bit in the Mayor's Hurdle and was disappointing. Obviously, the cross-country chase was called off. Johnny had tipped up Manila Indo, and I had gone for Foxy Jacks. And then, you'll see in my list of non-runners, I did tip 2 winners, but just for the wrong races, because I tipped Corbett's Cross and Factifile, but I went Corbett's Cross for the Brown Advisory. I think he was my first selection on the show. He went and won the National Hunt Chase by 17 lengths. And Factifile, I chanced for the National Hunt Chase, and he ended up winning the Brown Advisory. Am I Right, of course, was another one of my selections. My last one on the Sunday before the Cheltenham Festival. Am I Right just didn't get his ground, so he didn't run in the Kinmuir as it happened. But watch out for him when he gets good ground. You never know. He could be a big player in the Irish National if he does get good ground. But it's unlikely given the weather forecasts. And as you can see, other non-runners there for me. So I only got 3 runners out of my 10, and I did manage to get 1 winner with Gaelic Warrior. So it's good, Johnny. We're both in profit. You were most in profit with a level stakes profit of 225. So your winner of Up in the Ante 2024 is Johnny Dineen.
All right, okay.
What do you get? Oh, no, we'll have to get you a prize, maybe.
I don't know, maybe a little rosette or something.
Rosette,
The American jockeys get
Yeah.
into trouble. The flowers over them, yeah. No, look, as I said, it's you're talking thin lines there between winning and losing anyway, and you could easily have hit one more or maybe hit no winner. But I do think it does help us narrowing it down to 10. I think 20 was far too much anyway.
Okay, there you go. The result, Johnny Dineen is your winner. Now, folks, it is time to have a very quick look ahead to the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. And this was pure glory on the show last year, because this very segment, if you remember 12 months ago, myself and Johnny stood here in the same place, in the same studio, in front of the same camera, and I tipped up Ballyburn for what was then the Ballymore Novice Hurdle, which was rechristened the Gallagher Novice Hurdle. That's 16-1 Ballyburn. And Johnny, you tipped up Tihupu, or how do you pronounce it again?
Tihupu, yeah.
Do you know some fella gave out to me for slagging you?
You're all right, go away.
He came, he said, geez, you're very harsh on Johnny's pronunciation. That's not funny at all. So I kind of feel bad.
Don't worry, you can build away.
What's it called again?
Tihupu.
Johnny tipped up Tihupu at 10-1 for the Stairs Hurdle. So 16-1 and 10-1. And as you pointed out, Johnny, somebody on Twitter got in touch.
Yeah, 5 doubled. He got 935 for his 5. It was lovely, wasn't it?
Somebody did a double on those 2 horses. So get your pens and paper at the ready, because here are 2 selections, our very early selections for the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. Take it away, Johnny.
I'll go Ryanair Gaelic Warrior. I think just cracking price. It's
6-1.
6-1. 6 generally anyway.
6 of battery 6-5, yeah?
Yeah, okay. Look, the reason being you can write off this year's Ryanair as a possible throwing the winner out of it. No chance. Protector at Envoy Allen, not a prayer. You go to the novice chases then. Like Factifile isn't going to come back to Ryanair.
Grey Dawning.
Grey Dawning is a possibility for the Gold Cup, but even if he did go to Ryanair, I'd fancy the Gaelic Warrior to beat him, and the Arkle is Gaelic Warrior obviously. So, like I don't see much coming into these races. Like if you go for a horse in say a novice hurdle, anything can come and beat you. Like a French horse, a pointer, it could be absolutely anything. So horse you've never even heard of. You know what I mean? Whereas this race, you kind of roughly know what's in that little segment of horses that can possibly run, and like the fact that he was able to like fish him out of the pond, you could say, like from Leopardstown, and bring him back and win. So he's even if he does not perform throughout the season, you're never going to be out of it here on what he did this year. And if he has a trouble-free like run to the Ryanair, he could be odds on. Yeah. Like 6-1 is massive compared. Like all he has to do is stay sound, and he'll probably win it.
Yeah, and as you say, he's already got El Fabiolo for the
and
champion
maybe
chase.
energy.
And an ergamine, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't really see him going the champion chase route. It's a possibility, but it's the Ryanair is a lot more likely, in my opinion. Like, put it this way, the Gold Cup is out of the question. Anyway, out of the question. He's got like Galloping Sham Fact to file. Bar the 2 horses to go wrong. And you're just assuming everything is in good nick, which is maybe a brave assumption, I suppose. But anyway, look, I'd go no chance of Gold Cup. Small chance of the champion chase, but a lot more likely Ryanair. And I'd price it 8-1 on the Ryanair. That's the race he'd be going for, and I'd expect him to probably win.
Huge ability.
Yeah, well, I mean 6-1. It's on top of his ability. There ain't nothing there to trouble him either.
There you go. 6-1. Gaelic Warrior for the Ryanair is Johnny's early fancy for the 2025 Cheltenham Festival, and I'm going to the Arkle, Johnny. I'm going to the Arkle, and I know Ballyburn could show up there. I know Sergino could show up there, and who knows how good Sergino is. But the one horse who I thought wasn't able to show what he was made of at the Cheltenham Festival was Firefox in the Supreme. I'd advise you to watch the race again, because when I watched the first time live, I didn't realise all the trouble he got into. And given the trouble he got into, given the way he finished in the Supreme to get up for third, I thought he would have been a good deal closer, granted a clear run. And my thoughts on Firefox is this. He beat Ballyburn. He's the only horse to have beaten Ballyburn. Yes, it's a different Ballyburn now, but Firefox was wrong in the Lawlers and Ace Novice hurdle. He wasn't right afterwards. It's a long time between early January to the Cheltenham Festival, especially for a young horse. And I just thought when the tempo increased coming down the hill, he was after travelling and jumping beautifully into the race, Firefox. The tempo increased. It was a little bit of a shock to the system for Firefox. Took him a little bit of time to pick up, and when he was trying to pick up, he ran into the back of Tell Her the Name. I love the way he saw it out. I love the way he hit the line. He just has Chaser written all over him. And if Ballyburn does happen to go over fences, which is obviously likely, I think Ballyburn will go for the turners, and they'll be doing anything they can not to bump into Ballyburn. So I think they're going to go for the Arkle. And I think the way he jumps hurdles and the way he attacks them, I think he's going to make a smashing chaser. So at 14-1 for the Arkle, my selection will be Firefox. Are you going to ridicule me?
No, not. As you said, there will be an avalanche to escape Ballyburn, won't there? That's the problem. You know what I mean? Nobody would want to run against him, I don't think. So if he did, but he is a possibility for the turners, and he's a good staying horse too.
Firefox. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like if Ballyburn did run in the Arkle, he would go to the turners, wouldn't he? I think he would. Yeah. No, he's a very nice horse, and he did run well. Got tapped for toe a bit. I wonder was the Supreme as good a race as other years? I'm not sure. Like even the handicap only raced Slade Steel £4 for it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So according to his ratings, he's not even as good as horses that were ragged in other races there. You know what I mean? So look, I don't know. I would say one thing, that he's a good horse, and he will be a better chaser probably as well. I wouldn't dismiss him, no way. Okay,
there you go. That's your double. If the guy who did the 5-er double last year on Ballyburn and Tihupu wants to do a 5-er double this year, it's Firefox at 14-1 for me, and it's Gaelic Warrior at 6-1 for Johnny Dineen. Now, Up in the Ante viewers, would you like some free bets? Of course you would. We all love free bets. Here's how to claim them ahead of the Aintree Grand National meeting. So that's it, folks. That's it for the final episode of Up in the Ante in this series, Johnny Dineen. Back from Cheltenham. All your previews are done. Did you have to reintroduce yourself to your wife?
No. Actually, be grand. I'm only gone for a few days anyway. I mean, 4 or 5 days. Maybe.
Was she happy to see you come home?
She'd be happy to get rid of you too, and happy to see you when you come back. You know what I mean? Sure, that'd be like, you need a bit of a break from people too every now and then. You know, it wouldn't do her any harm. You know, so look, it's that's what, like.
So you got back late Friday night?
No, I was back for the first race Friday. I wasn't there Friday. I was back. I left at 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday to get to Heathrow to fly back. So I was in it. It's the same flight we always get. The last few years anyway, I was in it. I was home at about 12:15.
Okay.
So the first race 1:30. So it couldn't be better.
Nice big hug for you when you arrived.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Big squeeze.
Well, have you enjoyed the last 20 weeks as much as I have?
Ah, yeah, absolutely. So it breaks up my week, and it's something like to get out of the house. And if you're looking at computers all day, every day, it gets a bit monotonous too. So it's nice to interact with other people and deal with other species, I suppose, or whatever if you like to call
what
them.
you call me, a species?
Yeah, well, whatever, human beings or whatever. Look, it's
debatable.
and get out of the house and get on a train and do that kind of stuff. So it's what normal people do anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Go to work.
You're a normal person for the last
for one day anyway.
for the last, 20 weeks. Well, that is it, folks. That is it. I just have to say a big thanks to our cameraman Lawrence, who films the show every week, to our producer Sam, who puts the show together for us, and to you, the viewer, for watching Up in the Ante. We can't believe it. We go to Cheltenham and people are coming up telling us how much they enjoy Up in the Ante. And Johnny even says, and we can't believe we come in here every Tuesday and all we do is have a chat and a laugh. And if that brings you a little bit of enjoyment, that means the absolute world to us. And fingers crossed, you will be back to join us next November for a new series of Up in the Ante. But until then, and hopefully we'll bring him with us as well, but until then, for the very final time, he's been Johnny Dineen, I've been David Jennings. Thanks for watching Up in the Ante.